Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, The Magic Mirror. If this is your first time spending time with me, welcome. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video, share it with your loved ones. Also, check out my posts. Let me know in the comments what your favorite content is so far, and let me know something you'd like to see from me in 2026. I am still new to YouTube as far as the spiritual corner of this space. I'm still trying to figure out the kinks of really all my platforms, but I've been doing this for years and I think I'm kind of starting to get the hang of it. Yeah, I'm just in a space where I am trying to stay motivated and keep going so that I can keep growing and just see what happens. I could have gave up on a lot of this content creation stuff back when I was on Instagram and barely anybody was liking my posts, barely had engagement, right? I could have given up then, but I kept going. And so even though I did have a lot of people like book private stuff with me through Instagram, I am seeing just better engagement once I got off that platform. So if you guys like what you see, if I am giving you an inspiring message that changes your perspective, that makes you feel like you should keep going, that gives you confirmation right when you need it, make sure that you are also affirming and confirming me, because I can't grow without you. Okay? So your follows, your views, your likes make a difference to me and what I can do and what we can do together. I'm just excited to see what 2026 has in store for me, for these platforms I have, and just for all of us in general, what we're going to do together as a collective to shift ourselves, shift our realities, and shift this thing to the next level. As you guys can see, I am giving New Year goddess, okay? I'm giving Dia de los Muertos, okay? Respect the elders, respect the dead. It's giving a little bit of all that, and I was like, oh, what should I do for this, for this New Year's content? And this is just the look that I came up with, with the help of my lovely ancestors and spirit guides. They've been having me, adorn myself with flowers and stuff in some of these videos. And so I don't know, I'm like, okay, what y'all trying to do? Give me a little aesthetic, give me a look. So we're gonna see what happens. But don't be shocked if you see more of, the flower headpieces, the flower aesthetics in my content, because I do love flowers. Even though this is an aesthetic, a look, a vibe, it also has a lot to do with the energy that we're walking into as far as 2026 is concerned. Okay, so we have a lot to discuss. I just want to prepare you by letting you know that I will be rolling out a series of videos, so you may want to get plugged in. You may want to turn your notifications on so that you don't miss a beat of what I have to say about 2026. But we're going to warm ourselves up into this energy by first talking about the new moon in Capricorn that's soon to be approaching. I'm going to let you know some ways you can get ready for that energy and what it may be dropping off for you. Okay, we're going to get a quick collective message for that energy. So guys, our first new moon of 2026 is going to be happening on January 18th. So that gives you plenty of time whenever this video drops to prepare for what's on the way. Just intuitively, without divination, strictly downloads and accumulated knowledge based on my experiences with sidereal astrology. Yes, if you didn't know, This platform uses sidereal only, not Vedic, not tropical, not anything else. So if you're new to that information, go ahead and just book a private session with me so that you can really learn how that applies to you. I hope that you learned in 2025 that you don't have to be a know-it-all. Okay, it's not cute, it doesn't make you cooler, it doesn't do anything for you. It's okay to be exposed to new things and to learn about other perspectives outside of what you may have been primarily exposed to. If you watch my older content, you can too learn about how I transitioned from using tropical astrology and using sidereal for now 6 years, okay? However, as I've stated in previous videos as well, I'm not really here to, scratch your itch and your ego and harp on all these different zodiac signs. I know y'all love that type of content, and trust me, I will be scratching that itch just a little bit with this New Year's content, because I have some special videos I'm going to be rolling out for your zodiac signs, your elements, and your modalities. Okay, we're gonna read everything. The point that I really want you to know watching this video is that in some area of your life, everything applies to you. It's just about you figuring out where you need that guidance, where you need that medicine, and where it needs to be applied. When we get a prescription, let's say we get a ointment prescribed for, some aches and pains that we have in our body, well, we're not gonna put the ointment on the area that doesn't ache. We're gonna put it on the area that it's intended for, right? And so when you listen to these messages that are astrology based, or if I'm talking about astrology and you don't know what your sidereal birth chart is, but it resonates with you, that's cool too. But it's also a sign that maybe you should look into booking it one-on-one so that we can really break things down and you can see, oh, okay, yeah, this is clicking together a lot more, right? And you don't have to do all that by yourself. I think that sometimes in the spiritual community, we want to be so self-sufficient. We want to, do everything by ourselves. And really, that's just your ego stopping you from letting other people who have a higher level of experience and expertise than you in to help you. Okay, so again, that message that I talked about for a couple months in 2025 with this Jupiter and Gemini transit we still have going on, don't be afraid to be open, learn something new, be teachable. Okay, right into this Capricorn energy, guys. The last message that I gave in 2025 was a very strong message about enoughness. And this, I said in that video, this message was ahead of its time. And it truly was, because not only did it have that earth sign Capricorn-esque kind of tone to it, but when I started getting into messaging about 2026, I realized that, oh, this is a message about 2026. This is not just a message about the new year. This is not just a message about January. This new moon in Capricorn is going to be a very great time to reassess your standards, reassess what enough is for you, what enough money is, what enough food is, what enough time is, what enough space is, what enough love is. It's going to be a time to finally start looking at those goals that you may have. Okay, because I told you guys, going into the new year, going into 2026, this was not a time to obsess over goals and planning and all of these things, right? But as we kind of get deeper into the month of January, of course, these are naturally going to happen. You're naturally going to want to review your finances. You're naturally going to want to plan some vacations. You're naturally going to want to set some parameters and kind of brainstorm ideas about what you want your 2026 to look like. And that's totally okay. I wanted to influence you coming into the year that that shouldn't be a stress point. You know what I'm saying? Because oftentimes when we get to the end of the year, when we cross over into a new year, instead of us being happy and excited about everything we've accomplished and getting to even see a new calendar year, oftentimes we're stressed, we're doubtful, we're so hard on ourselves. You know, we don't think we've done enough. I just had to let the collective know that is not what spirit thinks about you. That's not what your ancestors think about you. And that's not what you should think about yourself. This is a great time to finally just kind of lay everything all out, look at the terrain that is before you, or even look at the terrain that's behind you and say, okay, we did this, this is where we are, and this is where I want to go. I highly encourage you to include your ancestors in that process of planning and goal setting. Include your spirit team in that process of planning, goal setting. But also, don't forget to be fully present, okay? Sometimes we can base our plans and we can base our future off of the past, and that's not wrong to do. That's just the natural thing, right? But then sometimes we also end up limiting ourselves. Sometimes we also end up limiting what God can do, limiting the ways that our spirit guides and our spirit team is going to show up and show out for us. And one of the biggest lessons that I learned towards the end of 2025 was that sometimes you truly have to play the cards that you're dealt. You can't think about the cards you had 5 years ago. You can't think about the cards you might have 5 years later. You have to be like, okay, I got these cards right here. Well, I don't have the ace of spades, but I have the 10 of spades. I'm going to play that and see what I can get with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of how we have to do. And it's like sometimes we can get so scared to even make a move that we just end up in this waiting period, and we kind of end up punishing ourselves. Not even like consciously, but we're like subconsciously, we're punishing ourselves, we're torturing ourselves with waiting because we're just scared to do anything at all. You may be realizing as we approach this new moon on January 18th, the power of waiting, because as I said in one of my final messages of 2025, some of us genuinely do need to sit back, relax, and just wait on God. That's one of the hardest things for some of us to do in spirituality. We're great at healing. We're great at manifesting. We're great at making breakthroughs. We're great at doing the shadow work and all of these different, things that we can do. But when God just says, sit back and relax and let me do me, we can't do that. Some of us may be realizing the power in waiting, the power in holding off, the power in patience as we come to this new moon, the power in just moving more calmly, moving with more patience, moving with more security, moving with more coolness, okay? We may be realizing the gains that we get from that versus moving from a space of lack, scarcity, desperation. We may be realizing, oh, I don't have to be desperate no more. I don't have to move out of scarcity. I don't have to move out of survival anymore. If I just sit back and wait and I follow the flow and the path that God is showing me, and I let God show me how to properly play the hand that I have been dealt, okay? Because God can show you how to play your cards if you ask. All right. So those are some things that may be coming up for us around this new moon in Capricorn. Also on the flip side, though, some of us may be receiving a lesson about patience. We may be receiving a lesson about the necessity of waiting, this necessity of not being in desperation, not being in survival mode. We may be receiving confirmation or recognition of why we are enough. Okay, over the next few weeks, you may be seeing that message about enough really be confirmed for you. And if you're struggling with worthiness, okay, because something special about 2026, and we'll get into more of this in another video, but 2026 has some great blessings, but I think that some of us may have trouble receiving. Okay, that's just something that I'm getting about 2026. Some of us may have trouble receiving because we have a worthiness wound. So if you guys have read my article, you'll know that a worthiness wound can be covered up by overworking, by overgiving, by doing more, by showing up more, by not taking breaks, by not letting people in to take care of you, to love you, to pour into you. Those are all different ways that we can cover up a worthiness wound. When we get to this new moon in Capricorn, you may be receiving confirmation that no, you really are enough. You really are enough, and you really don't have to do the most for people who know your value, know your worth, and know what you have to bring to the table. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into a message for the new moon in Capricorn, okay? So let's go ahead and see what the medicine is for this Capricorn new moon, our first new moon of 2026. All right, so here we go. We got this card that popped out here. There is a card underneath. Let's see what else we got going on. And I asked for the medicine, guys, so we're just gonna go straight in with the solutions. All right, Spirit is saying bottom of the deck. The bottom of the deck is faith, guys. Faith, faith, faith. Spirit is saying faith in the unknown. Faith in the unknown. Faith in the unknown. That is the first message. All right, y'all saw that card fly out, so we don't have to pretend like we don't know what's going on. It just flew out. Here we go. Faith in reverse. Faith in the unknown. That's literally what it means. Okay. So with the card in reverse, you may not know how to trust where you are, what you're seeing, what you're going through, what you're feeling. You just might not know. But that's okay, because it's not about what you know. It's about the fact that you don't know, and you're still gonna have to find that faith anyway. Okay, we got another reverse card. I hope you guys can see this, because I did turn down like the lighting or whatever, because I just wanted to have a more intimate vibe. So you might not be able to see things as well. I'm kind of testing this out. But if you like this, let me know. So the card says, carry the torch for others to see, wake up the world in reverse. Okay, so what this is saying already is that some of us have already been carrying the torch. We've already been trying to wake everybody else up. Maybe that torch has turned into a burden. You know, maybe it's getting heavy to carry that torch. Maybe the responsibility to try to bring others to the light is getting too heavy. And I just feel like Spirit is saying with this card, like, it's okay to put it down. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to just do it for you. It's okay to not take responsibility for everything and everybody, because at the end of the day, everybody got to be responsible for themselves. Okay? So I'm really getting a heavy message about responsibility. Get one more message. I forgot to bring my New Orleans voodoo deck, but I guess I'll save that for another one. So we got three cards. Okay. So let's go ahead and unravel what these two cards are. All right. We got the two of diamonds. We got the two of diamonds, nine of clubs. So nine of clubs showed up first, and then two of diamonds was kind of like it's like an underlying message, maybe a clarifying card, if you will. So here we have the nine of clubs, which really talks about pushing through. It talks about like a boost of energy. It talks about kind of like rekindling that fire. Maybe some of us, our fire got low. Maybe some of us let something die down, let our passion die down, or maybe we got discouraged at some point. And this is saying that that new moon is gonna give some of us a boost of energy. Is gonna wake some of us up, and is gonna reignite our passions. Is going to give us a reason why we should keep going. The clarifying card here is the two of diamonds, which speaks of budgeting, planning, small improvements, small efforts. And it also speaks of decision making, like making a concrete black and white decision about something in your life. And so with these two paired together, what I'm really getting is a message about kind of letting your passions fuel your planning, fuel your decision making, fuel where you're going to put your time, energy, money, and resources this year. Okay. Like I said, this is a great time to go ahead and set some goals. Do some financial planning, do some budgeting for 2026, set goals. This is a great time for all of that. So, we very much have a confirmation on that energy here. But it's just saying that you should be planning around your passions, around things that fuel you, around things that you desire, things that light you up. Don't just plan around the mundane. Don't just plan around necessity or obligation. Of course, we all have bills to pay. We all have things that, yes, we want to pay off and pay up and whatnot, but also like pour into other aspects of your life. Make sure you are planning for the fun things and not just the ordinary things. You're always going to be able to pay off or pay up some bills, but you may not always be able to take that dream vacation, or you may not always be able to create that art that you want to create, or make that big move across the country or out of the country. You might not be able to always do some of those things. And so you want to plan around. What I'm hearing is, again, like I said with this card, you're going to have faith in the unknown. You're going to have to trust beyond what you can see, feel, touch, taste coming into this new year. If you're able to do that, you're going to be able to dream bigger dreams. And that's still going to involve planning. That's why we have this two of diamonds here. It's still going to involve budgeting, goal setting. It's still going to involve being intentional and resourceful. But you're not limiting yourself. You're just making a plan for the infinite possibilities that God can produce when you put an effort forth. Okay, so let's get into these three cards that were unveiled. Woo! Now I asked for medicine. So let's see what the medicine is coming out of this deck here. We have tethered. We have no shortcuts. And then we have open road in reverse. Okay. open road in reverse, which is very, very interesting. Okay, so let me just take a look and see what's going on here with this, because these are some interesting messages, guys. When I see the Tethered card, I automatically think of something that we are bonded to, like we're crossed up with for better or for worse, right? And so sometimes the Tethered card is not bad, but sometimes it is. And oftentimes when the Tether card is bad, it will come up in reverse, and it'll usually be talking about the need to let something go, to uncross yourself or unhex yourself with somebody. It'll be talking about just toxic connections, kind of like that energy vampire type of thing. I'm not inherently getting that off the bat, so let's just see what Spirit has to say, because nothing is really coming through right now. After reading this here, because I'm not going to go through all of that, because I'm reading it for more so for clarification, not necessarily verbatim. Okay, so what's really sticking out here, the medicine here, is just, it's not a negative message. Okay, yes, at this new moon in Capricorn, we may need to be letting go of some baggage, right? That's kind of natural with that Capricorn energy. Some of us may be realizing, oh, I'm holding on to dead weight, right? I'm tethered to stuff that doesn't even really matter in this present moment. However, this card is also just talking about balance. It's talking about being mindful of how we may intentionally or unintentionally tether ourselves too tightly with people, places, things. And it's just kind of giving a soft reminder to give yourself breathing room. Give your life, give your goals, give your plans, give yourself, give your relationships, give your connections breathing room. Okay? You don't have to be twisted so tight with everything around you, with your plans don't have to be so rigid. Everything doesn't just have to be so tight. Let go, loosen up, allow things to be able to flow so that there's room for spirit. If you're bound so tightly, spirit cannot flow through a tight situation. Okay, no shortcuts. We already know this is straightforward message. A lot of us may be planning, we may be getting confirmation on plans, we may be, some worthiness wounds may be coming up at this new moon that we have to realize, ooh, this is a problem for me, right? Some of us will be setting intentions or continuing to set intentions for 2026, right? But it's important to remember as new healing ventures come up, right? As new plans expose themselves, new desires, or as we continue to work on maybe plans that are more long term than just a year, right? We might have been working on the same thing for the past 2-3 years, right? Spirit just wants to remind us that to just not expect things to happen overnight, and to be okay if things take a little more time than what you expected. This is a number 10 year, so it's really important that you guys understand the word longevity. Not everything is going to be quick, because it's not meant to last a little while. It's meant to last forever. Okay? So in order for that to happen, we have to understand sometimes it's not going to be the short way. Okay? So make sure when you're planning, you understand, when you're setting goals for the new year, make sure you understand it may take time, more than what you planned. And that's okay. Again, one of the foundational energies of this reading is having faith in the unknown. Okay? So having faith in the unknown means that you're not taking a shortcut out of fear. Okay, last message is open road in reverse. So I don't typically get the open road card in reverse, but let's see what happens. Off the bat, when I open the book, I see a message here about proceed but expect resistance. Adjust your approach and maybe it will work. Right key, wrong door, wrong key. Wait for further instruction. Okay? So, again, some of us at this new moon in Capricorn, we may be realizing the power of waiting. We may be realizing the reason why we're waiting. We may be receiving confirmation. We haven't been waiting in vain. The road is open. Okay? It's a new year. But again, it just boils down to having patience with yourself, trusting yourself, having faith in yourself. And that faith is going to come from your passions, your desires, the things that you love, the things that you care about. That's what is going to fuel your faith. That's what's going to allow God to flow through your plans and not have you so, holding on so tight, planning your life so rigidly when God can exceed your expectations. Being flexible is what I'm really getting from this open road message. Being flexible. Okay? That is the medicine for this first new moon in Capricorn. And again, rest, rejuvenation, letting people pull their own weight, letting people be responsible for themselves, not always being the one to carry the load and carry the torch, and not always being the leader and showing people the way is going to allow you to show yourself the way. It's going to allow you to pour back into yourself and have the self-care that you need to keep going and be able to give you that fuel, that reignition of passion and light and desire that's gonna kickstart your 2026 experience. Okay, so again, guys, we're still in a time of rest, rejuvenation, relaxation. And although I spent a lot of this video talking about planning, setting intentions, making preparations, it's still important that while you're doing that, you do have space and time to relax. And you're not pushing yourself too hard. You're not carrying more than you should. You're not doing stuff for other people that they really should be doing for themselves. Because right now, you're just supposed to be responsible for you, you know? And those who depend on you, who genuinely don't have anyone else or they can't do it themselves, right? Like if you have kids or, an elderly parent or something that needs your help, right? This moon is also going to be about self-care as well. And that's a message that I want to end this video on. Capricorn is this energy of death. It's this energy of, it's like the graveyard, and it's kind of this energy of everything being sucked out, vacant, empty, decayed, right? And so this may very well expose this new moon in Capricorn. It may very well expose people who do not care about you, who do not care about your well-being, who may be using you. But it's important that you are prioritizing yourself so that you know the difference. Because if you're the number one person being a mule for everybody, if you're the number one person taking on responsibilities that are not really yours, if you're the number one person who does not take care of themselves, You're never going to be able to identify people who don't pour into you ever, who don't have anything to offer you ever, who are always taking from you, who are always expecting you to show up, but they continually show up empty handed. So I hope this message helps you process the new moon in Capricorn that's happening January 18th, as well as just Capricorn energies that are stirring up now in the month of January. And stay tuned for some more videos, guys. Welcome to 2026.